change. So we welcome chaos. We welcome confusion. A lot of people having confused thinking, and just like it's interesting. I have things that happen to me that go like what I described yesterday about this. Kind of like I guess
I don't know what
a kind of a bizarre possession story that I experienced overnight.
What?
And where I was casting, demons, or casting something out of myself, but it looked like entities that were living in my consciousness, rent free and unbeknownst to me. And boy, were my arms tired. So
that's crazy.
And I describe this to other people at times, or I have, and they question my perception because it's not something they can really wrap their minds around. So then it must be my imagination or my way of presenting it that may or may not be accurate, or that you can't really believe the human mind. And that's kind of like where we are today with most people. They have like they have their experience, you have your experience, and when you compare experiences, the two don't jive. And the suspicion is that you don't know what you're talking about, or that I don't know what I'm talking about, or that we don't know what we're talking about. We're describing something the other can't relate to. And if they can't relate, then it doesn't exist. And I was just thinking about the whole topic of gang stalking. I wonder where gang stalking will be in 2026. I mean, I don't think anything will put gang stalking back where it was in the 90s. Do you? I don't think anything will outdo that. Having said that, though, people are targeted all the time.
90s.
And usually it's by governments for political purposes, people that are in the way, corporate espionage. There's all kinds of things like that go on that get people targeted. And it's got nothing to do with the gang stalking that is a supernatural targeting that affects almost all people on Earth. And I got someone to agree with me that all people on Earth know about it.
Y'all know.
But no one dares say anything. But all people on Earth, and then you have your people that say, if you believe that that's true, then you are crazy and you need, you're mentally ill. You need you're not mentally healthy.
You're not okay.
You're suffering from being delusional or psychotic in some way.
Delusion.
Because it doesn't exist. And not only does it exist, but it exists in a much more organized plane than our normal waking reality state. It's very organized and utilizes all the people that are in it are all the people that sold out into it when they were children. And those are the people that are the gang stalkers. There is your answer.
The beautiful people.
And I'm sorry if I didn't bring that to you early. I have brought it to you over the years, though, where I was really struggling with it, and really trying to get a handle on it and really trying to, not have it affect me, but it's because it involves, obviously all the agencies. You say, well, it's the police are the ones that run it. No, they're not the ones that run it. The police do not run the gang. I mean, they may run their own stalking based on drug deals and things like that and targeting people. And, that's different. But in terms of the actual gang stalking, electronic harassment, where you say, okay, a person's being electronically harassed. The police must be doing that. No, the police aren't doing that. Some of these weapons aren't even, weapons that are even listed in the patent office. They don't exist on Earth, these weapons. And so you say, well, where do they come from? They come from out there somewhere. They come from other worlds, other portals, other planes of reality, other places. When they move in, and they're watching you. And they're in their houses. and you see them at like 3 or 4 in the morning, you know, and you're looking out and if you're like me, and like right now it's like 3:15 and I want to get a jump on the day, and I can't help it. I'm really a morning person. And so you're out there and you see people, like oftentimes I would see them dressed in tuxedos. I mean, this would be in formal dress, looking out their window, taunting me personally, knowing I would be right there in that area in my backyard where I could see in that back window of someone's house. And then the next morning, when I went to check it again, that house wasn't there.
Oh, that's crazy. I remember him saying this.
Now, this happened over and over again, to where an expert in this subject, who shall go nameless, told me, you know, to put it this way, and this is back in the 90s, put it this way. Just because you can't, just because it's not there now doesn't mean it didn't happen. Those people were not the people I knew. They were not the people that occupied that house. That house does not exist there. Yeah, they had a bird's eye view of my house. And then some of them on the same neighborhood street had little satellites and little listening devices and cameras that would come up on their roof, and even for the guy across the street who was like a CIA, I guess he was the drug czar of LA. And this thing popped up on his roof, this infrared, which you couldn't see from the street. Like if you got above it, I guess maybe if you got a drone, you couldn't see that there was something like that. And he said, on the infrared, I can watch you in the house. So watch all of our movements with this infrared. And then this is connected to a guy way across the canyon, you know, a mile or 2 away with a telephoto lens, just shooting picture after picture of our backyard and us in it. And, you know, couple that with, with weird cars going by and people making strange noises out in front, and finally getting to the point where, you know, where I felt like, okay, we might have to defend ourselves here. This may just turn into a shootout, whatever this is. But what was it? It made no sense. And then the next day, those people, there was nothing on that guy's roof. There were no people across the way with the telephoto outfit. In those days, you know, telephoto we hadn't gone completely digital yet. And there were no, people coming into the house and then moving things around. You're not stealing them, but moving them. You know, just to let you know that you're invaded. You know, just to drive you to the psychological edge that you are not secure. Okay, and you know, this was a terrible feeling to feel that, you know, you had no privacy, no place to go, and that these people were taunting and laughing. And they laugh as you see them in Walmart or the market or wherever you shop, or, you know, the mall or whatever. And they're making noise and snickering and whistling and making all these noises around you, and they're targeting you with it. And, you know, I've never seen these people before in my life. I've never done anything wrong to them. I have done nothing wrong to anyone. You know, I haven't spied on them. I didn't, take video footage of them. I didn't follow them around in a car. I didn't break into their house and move, their stuff around. But it's happening to me, one-way street for no reason, and then they have their watchers everywhere where they just watch you. You know, it's almost like they have you on, as one person said, you're on basically on closed circuit TV 365. Wherever you go, they're watching. Whatever you do, they're watching. You fly over to Hawaii, they're there waiting. Fly to Europe, they're there waiting. You know, go anywhere in the United States, they're there waiting. But then they're not there. And then when you see you see them, they were people you knew who were doing it. Then you see the next day, those weren't the people you knew. How could they convince you otherwise? And how far can they go with this, utter, torture, which is what it is, electronic but really what it is psychic attack. It's psychic torture along with hallucinations. And those hallucinations can be quite grand, quite debilitating. And of course, many of the hallucinations are not hallucinations at all, but real. And yet, because they're not there now, you'd go to show somebody and they think that you've lost it. You've flipped out. You need help. And that's where we got to. And that's, by the way, that's where we stayed. That's where it went to, and that's where it stayed. I haven't really dealt with it since then. I mean, I know that, a lot of times they were taking pictures, and they love to take pictures, and so somewhere, they probably have pictures of me somewhere. I don't know. But I do know this, that it was that every single person that I spoke with about it knew all about it and verified it was real, but that you won't get anyone to talk about it because the people have to participate. If they want to keep their house, their car, their bills down, or not go back to their probation officer and go into jail and things like that, they have to participate. And then for people today to call people that have that experience crazy is, shows me that those people in positions of power, say, talk show hosts and things that have big followings, that they are compromised by this reality, that they are part of this reality, that they are corrupted, because everyone knows about it. The only people that don't know about it would be the people I call the lambs, which are like, they don't really understand that they're not really subject to the ways of the world. They're just pure arts, and they're not really part of the world system. And, but they're preyed upon, and they're hurt, and they're rounded up, and they're followed, and everything else. Because why? Because they're different. Because they're not like regular people. And so we must ruin their lives, mustn't we? We can't let people just walk around free. There's got to be a price for that. You all have to toe the line, so that you make them toe the line. And then you say, what are you talking about? I'm not talking about anything. Then they start whistling. Start singing, I'm a highway star. So that's where we left off with the gang stalking was, back then, we left off with it's interdimensional, and it's kind of like that possession thing I told you about yesterday. It's utterly other, supernatural and unexplainable and ununderstandable. It doesn't, where can I go look that up where there's, a family living in your head? Well, nowhere. Doesn't exist, never happened. You just need to be talking to therapists and people like that until it's straightened out that, your perception is not accurate all the time. No one's going to tell you there's anything like gang stalking. They don't believe it. But they do believe it, but they won't say. But you can't prove that. Oh, yes, I can. Given I can, wear a person down, I can get them all the way to the point of screaming it. And they have. I have to. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be involved in this, but I have to, Zeph. Why? Because if I don't, I get in trouble. So now where are we today with my case? Your case, you've obviously become immune to it, or not immune, but I would say you got very, very knowledgeable, and so it doesn't work on you. Now that's because of Jesus. That's why it doesn't work on me. You finally understood that. So where are we? We are in a Mexican standoff. Here you are on one side of the room over there, and there they are, the seething wolves over here, just fighting for an opportunity to get involved, looking for an opportunity to get the go signal so they can start the program. What? Start the program running. Push play. And when does the program end? No one knows. No one knows when it ends. The program I had going in LA, I mean, that went for, let's see, well, since adolescence, I mean, it went for 25 years of pure torture. And a lot of it, if I copped to it like I knew what was going on, that would be it. One way to the institution and throw the key away. So, it was very precarious. And I really feel sorry for people that have this problem. There's nothing anyone can do. You are the targeted one. You must make the move. You must put up the spiritual warfare. You must discern it. You must understand it. Nobody else is going to be able to understand it, no matter how well you explain it.
True. Thank you, Jesus.
And so I asked somebody, well, how can something like this exist that's worldwide, that nobody knows anything about, yet runs everyone's life? You got us, Zeph. That's why ChatGPT is scared of you, because you always talk us into a corner. So who's really running the show? And, Satan, and whatever that means. It's a pretty big deal, though, isn't it? And why do people join it? Money, POWER, SEX. What other reason would there be?
What other reason would there be?
So you will never have a world based on, real equity, real equanimity,
Real belief.
real, which is, another word that tends to mean, a form of equality. You will never have a world where the rights come from God, because Pink Floyd came out with The Dark Side of the Moon to make sure that any of you who think you're going to get away, you're not. You're not. You're just going to lose time. And if you lose time, what happens? Your goal of having the mansion on the hill gets buried, along with your new wife and your new kids, and never happened. Your life becomes stillborn. You produce nothing. You missed the firing shot. You missed the flag.
That's his.
Remember, Run Rabbit Run?
Oh.
Run Rabbit Run, does that mean anything to anyone? Well, shoot, what have I been doing all these years? Figuring all this stuff out for them. We can't even have a conversation. Because once they get on to you, from having loose talk at a Starbucks of all places. You find that shit goes home with you. It starts working its way into dreams, and before you know it, you have a night like I had the other night. They have not come back, by the way. Maybe it was a figment of my imagination. You have to be willing to say you could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
It's just when it happens 30,000 times in a row
You could be right.
that you say, you know what?